Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Two Dimes and a Token. I'm your host today, Brucknasty, and I'll make this intro very, very short. I'm very excited for this episode. We had, again, Travis Schroder of Travis Schroder Music back on the podcast. He's actually dropping a brand new album or something I can't remember. It's an EP or whatever it may be. I'm still not intelligent enough to remember those things. However, it is 4 songs. You'll actually be able to find the link below here in the bio of the YouTube, and it'll be all over our socials as well. But he is releasing a brand new album, 4 songs, 17 minutes long, and something that's really kind of breaking him out of his norm of what he's used to, what he's done over the past 15, 20 years of music. And he's really kind of growing and developing and evolving himself into becoming an even better artist. And we got a little sneak peek for you on the podcast as well. He does give us a little tune-up, probably about a minute long. But the link dropped today. The album drops first week of May, so it'll actually be coming out in the next couple days when this is aired. But it's an absolutely amazing podcast, dude. Can't say enough about Travis. Truly an amazing person and an amazing musician. So be sure to go click the link. Go get your pre-subscribe or your pre-check-in for his new album that's dropping. And before we get you into the episode, we got to let you know this episode is brought to you by none other than Death Grip Wax. Death Grip Wax is a leading edge company when it comes to your facial hair needs. They have all the best wax. They have the best beard oils. They have the best materials. They have the best utensils that you could possibly imagine when it comes to shaping your face, taking your face from that 6 to the 10. Death Grip Wax is the company that you need. So you can actually go to deathgripwax.com, or you can click the link below and you can use the promo code, all caps, 2 dimes and a token to get 20% off your entire purchase. That's right. In order to make yourself look good, you need to take that promo code, all caps, go to deathgripwax.com, purchase as much as you possibly need, depending on how low your face is set to. If you're at a 6, you probably need 2 months worth, right? Bring it to the 10 for at least 4 to 6 months later. But either way, before we get into it, we did have a small, towards the end of it, we want to make sure you guys understand how important subscribing is to your favorite people. Even if we're not your favorite, go ahead and hit subscribe for us because we love you and we appreciate you and we want to give you finger guns. But whenever you do get a chance, go check out Travis Schroder and all of his socials. Go find him on YouTube. Please help him out. Help us all out. Hit the subscribe button. This is, like I said, it's an amazing artist you're going to want to stay up with. He's got some amazing music that's going to be coming in the next few years, and it's something that you guys definitely, I believe, something that everybody would be able to get into. So, like, subscribe, all that fun shit for us as well. And without further ado, let's check out Mr. Travis Schroder on his brand new album dropping titled Changing Views.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're good.
So we're live.
Yeah, no, we're live.
We're
dude.
looking live.
We're live. Thank you, Travis, for coming back. This is
Absolutely.
it's always a great time. So let's hop into this thing, dude. What is our drink of the pod?
We got a little Modelo Especial.
Yes, I do love Modelo.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do. This is my drink of choice.
What's the commercial for these? Modelo for the hardworking individual.
I think so, yeah.
It's legendary or something.
Yeah.
Either way, cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Tap him for me.
Salud.
There you go. Fantastic.
It's like a little beefier Corona.
It
you
is.
know? So that's why I like it.
It's like a manlier Corona.
Yeah, I agree.
I dig that. So
I mean, what's wrong with Corona? Is it?
Corona's good, but it's like Corona's kind of like mow your lawn beer. That is not a stereotype because like it's like the most refreshing thing ever. Like once you mow your lawn, you do like work outside.
Corona is like you do.
It's like water.
Yeah, you do like 10 to 12 hours of labor and you only get paid 100 pesos. That's what Corona is.
Gotcha. So Modelo.
That was stereotype.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to say that. You just took it.
We're gonna get canceled and shadow banned.
Yeah, there you go.
Right there.
So dude, let's get into it, bro.
Yeah, man.
New album coming out.
Finally done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a year in the making. So
yeah.
How did you know you were done? Like
So there's like a funny line. I can't quote the person, but like no art is ever finished. It's just released, and so basically you get to the point where you're like, all right, I think we've got it, because you can get in the weeds with stuff, but yeah, I feel good about them. I just got back the mixes and we're mastering them now, and it sounds really good. So I'm excited to release it.
So what is walk me through the mixes? I'm just curious. You can make that quick.
Yeah.
What is that?
So I mean, no, it's good info. Like mixing. So you're recording everything, and to the best of your ability, you get a good mix. And so a mix is like, let's bring the voice down here a little bit. It's a little too loud. I'll bring the piano up here. Like that's essentially mixing. And so you get it as good as you can get it, and we call it a scratch track. Yeah. And then you send it to your mixing engineer, and they go line by line with a scalpel, and they make it sound all leveled out.
Oh wow. Okay. So it's really just the editing process kind of
just
thing.
Just the editing process.
It's fine-tuning all the work that's kind of put into it. How do you transition that into like a live experience? I mean, how is that set up? Because I know.
Yeah. Well, it's different because it's just kind of like I have a writing partner, producer, and it's like me and him kind of doing everything, playing everything. Because a lot of these instruments that you're going to hear and that you hear on a lot of people's albums, they're not real musicians. Yeah. They're plugins, yeah. And so you're on a keyboard playing on the keyboard like a drum sound, or you're playing like an electric guitar sound, but you're doing it on a piano because it's connected through MIDI and into Logic or Pro Tools, whatever you're using. And so the live piece is totally different because it's like, all right, I could either hire some people and have them play behind me, or I can play through with backtracks, and I can play like a lot of times like Owl City, right? Like his music, it's a full band, right? But when he plays out, it's just him with backing tracks. So what do I want to do? I mean, obviously I'd love to have real musicians and do it in maybe like a more stripped down kind of different vibe way. And I think, and I'll be playing some shows this summer. So yeah,
that's going to be exciting.
I mean, just seeing their reaction is going to be everything.
It will be good.
Are you more concerned about how people are going to be receptive to it, or are you just like, hey, this is my music no matter what?
Well, it's a good question because my older stuff is, I listen back and I'm really proud of it. And I think it's great, but it sounds a little dated. And so as you've noticed with music, it's becoming a little bit more like the synth stuff and like the kind of club sound and the heavy bass, kind of almost like house or techno. Does that make sense?
We were talking about the TikTok thing.
Yeah, like that vibe, that whole kind of sound is so in right now. And so I kind of did some of that with this new stuff instead of sounding like 2008, Drops of Jupiter, right? Like that stuff's great. Those are good songs, but like it's kind of not what people want to hear right now. So it's more in that vibe.
That's why I'm stuck in that old fashioned.
Same. Yeah.
Drops of Jupiter,
it's all the best.
Bro, I still listen to that song at least every 3 days. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing. It's just your vibe. Like, is this working out music? Is this going to the club music? Is this in the car music? It's kind of like, what's your niche?
Well, for sure, and you want to be listenable. That's the biggest thing as an artist. I want to be is listenable. Would somebody listen to this who might not typically listen to this style because of a melody or because of the beat, the vibe, right? And so, this new stuff that I have, so I'm going to be releasing is I tried to kind of evolve a little bit because that genre that you're talking about is called adult contemporary. It's like, is this on a TV show? It's like they all kind of sound like the same song, right?
Yeah.
And that has kind of been my wheelhouse for so long, and that's what my old stuff sounds like. And so, yeah, it's just the music scene has changed, so you want to be listenable, you want to stay relevant and not release music that sounds like, I like this stuff in high school when, this style was more popular. Does that make sense?
No, I get that. One thing about me, and this is just one individual, like I'm introducing my kids to the stuff I listened to in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
And we go rolling down, like I'll hit this. Let me show you this '90s playlist, right? And we go down the song. I'm like, this was a banger back in the day. And you see my 10-year-old daughter's like, yeah,
it's true, man.
Yeah.
So it's so funny you say that because like when I was a kid, my dad, like, he'd give me his Hall & Oates CD or
Yep.
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
And now we're like, I don't have kids yet, but like you're doing it to your, hey,
Oh,
check
yeah.
out this band. They're
I'm doing it. So
Nickelback. The
yeah,
kid is
dude, I'm
cool.
doing it
I like
so
Nickelback.
much. It's like, and she's getting into the things like ZZ Top or
Oh, nice.
like stuff and a lot of Metallica in there. But there's just all kinds of different stuff that I play because I have a huge variety of music that I really like, and I think it's so cool. And in my perspective, it's like they're coming back, baby.
Yeah.
Like it's coming back.
I think so. I think it is.
So I'm actually stoked because I love your style of music. We've talked about it. You know how
Thank
Ash feels. She keels over and wishes that she could leave me and just marry your music and all that stuff.
Fake news.
Fake news. But so onto your album, man.
Yeah.
So walk us through the process. Like you said, you changed a little bit. You're kind of growing out of the usual of your norm.
Yeah.
What kind of steps did you have to take to get there?
So when I first started, kicking around the idea, I want to release some stuff again. I kind of want to get back into it. I had a really good song that will be on the new album. And I'm like, I think I got something here. If I can make a couple more of these, like, let's make an EP. And so when you're making an album, there's a ton of writing involved and you're hashing things out. And sometimes you start recording a song and you're like, I think this one will be good, and it just doesn't translate when you record it, because sometimes songs are better just with a guitar, right? And so so the difference with this experience than the last ones, I worked with a producer. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him 20 plus years. So he had his own vibe, which is similar to mine, but he had a better way of translating it. And so I would, okay, I think I got a song for the new album, and I'd send it to him, and then he would kind of hear it, and it's like, does it work? Does it kind of work? Does it not work? And so the songs that are gonna be released, and there's 4 of them on this EP, is I'm really proud of, because it's like these sound like complete ideas. They sound like just put together and original, instead of like, okay, this kind of sounds like this band, or this kind of sounds like that band. I didn't want to have this go around.
Yeah. No, I dig that, man. So what would you say is like the biggest thing you had to adjust personally though, trying to get out of your norm? Like,
I had to be okay with writing bad songs. Wow. Yeah, and in the songwriting community, whether you're teaching a class or you're taking a class, you gotta write bad songs, because it's like it will get you to the great song, and you got to keep digging and digging and digging. Think about somebody who draws or who paints. It's just like, not this one, and they keep going and keep digging, right? And so my producer, he basically said, I used to be in a band with him in high school, and it's like, man, we finally, it took us 8 months to find this great song, right, that we're gonna release over the course of the year, right? And he's like, no, it took us 20 years to get this song, because all that time, it's a compound effect. And I think what I proved to myself with this new music is like, I think I'm kind of good at this. I think I'm really grown since 2014, or so.
Yeah, that's dope.
I want to know what's the message behind this new music, this new vibe that you have going on. Do all the songs like go off of each other, one after another, or is it like this is its own individual? This is rock.
Yeah.
This is,
okay. Yeah, they're all the same vibe.
Yeah,
they're all the same vibe. As far as the sound and the instrumentation, the feel. But this album, I've always written love songs. I've always written breakup songs. It's just easy, and they're so identifiable. And so most of the songs are about like love, loss of love, life. And so the title of the record is Changing Views. And so through this course of my life, this past year of my life, I've had a lot of changes and a lot of growth, and a lot of my perception changed on these things I'm kind of like these songs are about. And so the message is, I think, how love and life and like those things can change over time, because there is a breakup song, there's a love song, there's I wish we could longing song, so that's kind of the message, is how your view can change.
I mean, it's good to have that mix. I tell everybody I fell in love with that type of music.
Yeah.
I was watching this show called The Game. I know you guys know what The Game is, but it had what's his name? It was Dreaming with a Broken Heart.
John Mayer.
Yeah.
John
Mayer.
Great song.
He was on there, and I was like, man, this really resonates to what's going on in my current life. And I can see me listening to this for 20 years down the road.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not one of those where you're singing along. You're just allowing the emotions to go through you and flow through you. Do you have one that's kind of like that, where you're like
on the new
album,
okay.
like 20 years from now, I can look back and be like,
so the first song is, I think, my best work, if you will, and it's called XYM, which is short for Cross Your Mind. And I wrote it about a relationship that I was in that ended, and it ended. And when you go through like a breakup or you end of a relationship, there's all these like dreams that you had of the relationship and the disappointment with that. But then also, the chorus is like, "Does it ever cross your mind like it does to mine?" And so, that's one that I think really will resonate with people, I hope. And I think it's the best produced. I think it's the most fun to listen to as well. So I think it's like the total package.
So you're saying the song that you have that's making you reminisce on what you had before, that good thing, that thing that everyone's excited about, the ideal stage. That's what you wrote about. Now I'm just gonna go right into it. I want to hear it. So can you give the audience
shit? All right, we're kicking that off.
Kicking it off. I want this is a.
So let's catch
All right,
this. Let's catch this vibe with you real quick, brother.
Right, bring us to it.
I used to think I had it figured out. I knew all the things to say. I used to think that you would stay around, but I'm losing you each day. So does it ever cross your mind the kind of way it does to mine? And did we really even try? Does it ever cross your mind?
So me, I'm a country boy at heart. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I can listen to that type of music. I'm a bonfire, sitting out back, just relaxing, with the kids.
I want to cry right now.
Yeah, it's not even
No.
that. You want something that you feel, and
Right.
that right there is something that you feel. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're just getting out of a relationship, like, did you even try? Because in some relationships, you bleed over into the other relationship to where you didn't heal properly.
That's
So
a great point.
you go into the next relationship with those same. I'm trying to correct what this person wanted, instead of just going in there with a fresh look and like, hey, I'm a new person.
Yeah, that was that explosion, but
Yeah, I know,
Drop the
right,
mic on
dude?
that.
It's cool, man. Like, I don't know. I've listened to your music for a long time now. You know that. So I love the vibe though.
Thank you.
I've always loved that
Thank
vibe.
you.
So, and that's why I'm like, because we've had multiple musicians on here, and like, not to shit on anybody we've had on. I've loved their stuff. They've been great personalities. Like Devin, Amanda Marie was absolutely fantastic. This right here is that's just my click. It's
Yeah.
just like that'll be my go-to if I'm chilling, playing a game. I turn the volume down in the game, and I'll throw that on.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nice.
that's kind of my road trip, baby.
It's not even that. It's just that's my type of music as well. It's like Amanda Marie, she's amazing.
Yeah.
But she's trying to touch so many different types of audience and you don't know the actual niche. So asking her what's her message is just be okay with being who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good.
letting that weird stuff, people like weird. I don't know if you realize that, but it's the artists
Yeah,
that
that's what makes you an artist. Is like and that's hard for me, right? You're asking earlier, like what was the challenge? Like, it's hard for me to take more risks. It was hard for me to not have this perfectly textbook song, right, that we love to hear, and get a little weird with it,
Yeah, dude, I dig that. I dig that a lot. So as you're going through the process and you're kind of coming up with the stuff, and you said it's been over a year
Yeah.
that you've been kind of working on it, man. What would you say is there like a specific part of the process that kind of like held you up a little bit, or is a little bit more difficult for you to migrate into a new genre?
Yeah, I mean, the writing was definitely hard. We probably had 12 to 15 songs that in total, and 4 of them made it, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's the hard part, so we recorded a song that was called The Way It Goes. And here, I'll play a really fast little chorus because it's so. Just the way it goes, the way it goes, just the way it goes,
Yeah.
the way it goes. So you see how that's kind of like sounds kind of catchy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but it didn't work.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't work, and it kind of came out half baked because I'm like, man, this chorus is so catchy. It's like it's a no brainer, but when the production piece gets in there, sometimes it won't translate, and that was difficult because I really liked this one. I really wanted to make it work. And I might make it work in the future, but the most exciting is when you're in the production because you're building it out and you're putting all the color on it now. The hard part is like writing and getting that thing to build out.
Dude, that's crazy. See, I find that funny because that was super catchy. Like I would be like, okay, I need to find a way to make this work.
Yeah.
Is there scenarios where you just like you gotta scrap it, or
No. I mean, there's artists do it all the time where they're like, oh, I kind of wrote this in this stage of writing, or when this album or that album came out, and then they are able to crack it and finally release it.
Man, I see things like that. Simple is best. You know that the ABC is best. Yep. You have to have the right video in order to really sell that. So I don't think you would ever scrap that. Like The Way It Goes is something that even the kids can sing along with.
Right.
Like
right.
What I do in my pastime, me and my son will sit down and we'll sing together. And I'm like, it's okay to sing. And he's like, but what if I sound bad? It's like, son, nobody cares.
Yeah,
exactly. Everyone sound bad in the beginning.
You just enjoy the moment of the music.
Yeah.
You're trying. Whenever you're trying, you're not going to look like you're doing it the right way.
I know.
Like, man, I'm trying the guitar. Right. You're going to sound horrible.
Yeah.
And then eventually you sound good. But you got to go through the bad stage in order to get through it. People are afraid to try and to put yourself out there and say, hey, this is the way it goes. I feel like that's a commercial. That's anything that you can go off of. That's a love story waiting to happen. So what do you want the end result of your music to be?
I would love to, and this is kind of what a lot of people are trying to do, is get a sync deal, which means your song's in a movie or your song's in a show or a commercial, and that's kind of what making it would mean to me. A lot of times these artists who come speak at these music colleges and stuff, like John Mayer came and spoke at Berklee College of Music in Boston, and one of his things he was saying is like, you have to decide what is making it mean to you. And are you willing to do what it takes to get that? If you want to be the next Alicia Keys, are you okay with that lifestyle? Are you like, you got to go you got to leave everything, right? But for me, like making it would be like, man, if my song was published on a show, like go to episode 3 of House of Cards on Netflix and you'll hear it on 22 minutes and 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can die happy now. Cause that, to me, that's making it.
Yeah.
So that's my ultimate goal.
I think that was a big thing we talked about last time too, is was like pushing to a point where you can make enough financially. And like some people have the idea of the dream is I'm going to be filthy rich and be part of the Illuminati and hang out with Jay-Z and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like that's making it. Some people, whereas
right now,
right?
Yeah. So, but at the same time,
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. At the same time, like we had said before, like imagine if you could make a living, like pay a mortgage and do this, but you just play music,
right? And
that's making it.
How's that not the best of both worlds?
I'm not gonna lie, dude. That would be pretty dope. Because if I had the opportunity to where I didn't have to work at a job, I didn't have to work for somebody, and I was kind of in control of my schedule, and I was in control of this, and it's like, bro, how is there any, even if I didn't live in the $2 million mansion, or
Right.
whatever, if I didn't have a pool, like, it's just all that little stuff kind of goes away, and you're
Yep.
like, bro, I do what I love to do, like, whenever I want.
Right.
That sounds pretty fucking cool to me.
Right. That's a lotto ticket, man.
Exactly. So now going into, again, so how many songs are on your album?
4.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 4. So what's called an EP, which is like,
Yeah.
it means extended play, and but it's its own entity. It's its own vibe. It's all flows together.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 4 songs. So, and I tell people, like, if you got 17 minutes on your ride to work, on your ride to the gym, or on
Give
the
it a
treadmill,
shot.
you can hear them all, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you're talking about, how the style has changed and evolved, like, I really think they're so listenable, and that's what makes me so proud of them, is they're so listenable.
Yeah.
Because anybody's like, oh, I'm in this, death metal band. No problem with death metal, but it's like, will everyone want to spend 17 minutes or 20 minutes listening to 4 songs of that? Or it's like, this is really cool, but I think with my music, it's just like, you throw it on when you're having people over and you're chilling, right? And so,
Yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I do love that. I can't stand death metal. That shit, it's just, I can't stand it. It's horror to my ears. But so that's crazy. You went from 15 songs that you put together, and you were so critical and narrowed it down to 4. What was that process like? Like, I feel like, because you already said there's one that you had to toss out, and you were kind of like, damn.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to be, like, ruthless. Because if you're the artist and you're gonna release, this is just maybe a thought process that has changed within me, is like, if I'm an artist and I'm gonna put my name on something, I better rip these things apart to make sure they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
And to make a great song, it has to be bulletproof. Think about the song like Whiskey Glasses.
Yeah.
That song's bulletproof. It's like, this is a perfect song, And
Yeah.
so you got to get it to what you think that level is. And then so I'll give you an example. Coldplay. Love Coldplay. Their album X and Y, that's the album with Speed. Let's go flying at the speed of sound.
Yeah,
And
that one.
remember that song Fix You?
Yes.
On every movie of all time.
Yes.
They recorded over 100 songs for that album. And I don't know, I can't remember, 11 or 12 songs. That's it.
Holy shit.
And so you have to get to that point where you're like, it's just not there.
You got to find the best of the best. And,
Yep.
wow. So that really what kind of determines the artist in itself, is like, how connected are you with what the world kind of wants to hear?
Yeah.
And you can put together 45 different options, but you break it down to 5 that is like, these are the ones.
Yep.
Wow, that's
And-
crazy.
and the
You still have to bring those back out. I'm just saying, like, once
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
hears
For
one
sure.
song,
And there might be more music in the future
no, it's not even that. It's like,
from these songs that I'm trying to continue to hash out. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just scrap what's out there, because, man, some things you have to throw at the wall and see if it sticks.
Exactly.
So I'm looking at it, like, from an artist standpoint, you're critiquing yourself and you're saying, like, this is what I want to be able to, bang
Yep.
and make people fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
But it really ends up being one song that people's like, man.
Exactly.
Like
That's
I
a
said,
good
Dream
point.
with a Broken Heart. Once I heard that, I wanted to hear everything else
Exactly.
he made.
Yep.
And it wasn't always good. Like, what everyone else like is not what I'm going to like.
Right.
So you just realize, like, man, just to this one song, I feel like I'm connected to
Yep.
the artist. And
Right.
once you have a connection, you have a community.
Yeah.
So I feel like in your community, you're giving them a little taste of what they can actually eat. They need a full meal. So
Exactly.
how do they get a full meal of you?
So it's funny you say that. So, like, these songs, I said there's 4 songs, and 2 of them are that really chill acoustic vibe that's more acoustic guitar driven, and then 2 of them are really, really produced. And so there's different vibes. So most people who listen to me are like, they love the acoustic stuff because it's just kind of my wheelhouse. And so, you got to listen to this stuff. Let me know what you think, and let me know which one, like, resonates with you the most. Because there's different flavors,
I feel like with your tone voice is not just introducing people to your own music, but also, like, I sent you something on Instagram, and I was like, man, I would love to hear you do this part of this song and let the world hear how you can sound. You can sing Justin Timberlake, but you don't sound like Justin.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
giving your own little spin to it. Have you been doing that as well, or is this just like
Yeah.
all me?
Yeah, I want to, doing like cover videos and like that stuff's number one. It's really fun because you're singing a great song. Like it's always fun. But at the same time, you can showcase different parts of yourself as an artist. And so to your point on these songs, I don't really belt it out. I don't really like I got classically trained in voice. My first stuff I'm like belting out, on it's like the song Lexington on my first album. But these are like more chilled or more laid back. And so the world of social media, the world of the internet, by posting videos of you doing a song by Sting or doing a song by Beyonce, like I love the song Halo, and so like do that in a way that's cool and that could showcase something different about you. It's another way that you can start building an audience and finding people that connect with your music.
I love the true artistry is just being able to go in any arena and be able to display your art, being able to express how you view music and change it up. I grew up, listening to like Mesh,
Yeah.
where people are going from one song to the next song to the next song. I think they're all correlated on the same like 8 count, where it's like, man, I can do this. I can bridge from this and go. Do you have childlike joy? I'm asking you a question. Do you have childlike joy when you're playing?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you feel like who you think you're supposed to feel like. You think like this is me, like this is my authentic self. And there's something really freeing in that because we are different versions of ourselves in different places that we go. We're at Thanksgiving dinner, at the office, and so when you can truly express yourself and say things that you want to say in terms of your songs, you feel alive. I think that's why the ultimate goal is to be able to do what you love to do. You never work a day in your life.
Are you venturing into like more live shows too? Like,
Yeah, I want to. I'll be doing some live shows this summer.
Yeah.
So I'll get you the deets.
Nice.
But yeah, it's different for me because live shows for me are. I don't have a band, and what like people resonate with this acoustic stuff and that chill vibe.
Yeah.
This summer I'll be doing some live shows, and it's difficult for me with live shows because when you are making music and it's so produced and you've got drums and everything, you have to either hire people to do that or play through backing tracks, which always looks weird. Like if it's just me and a guitar and speakers behind me playing all the other instruments.
Yeah.
That's why I've always like if you go to like a Drake concert or like it's just them on a mic and everything playing on speakers, it's wild. I feel like it'd be tough to perform that way, but yeah, for me it's the acoustic guitar, picking it up at the coffee shop or this or that. Like that's the vibe people love. That's the vibe they kind of identify me as, and so it's easier for me to do shows in that aspect, but it's harder because you're not going to get that full experience you're getting off the album.
Yeah, I feel that. I do. Now so in the album, right? Obviously, like we said it a couple times, this has been years and years of work in the making, and we have to introduce a fourth party here. Who we got
party
here?
time.
This is my dog,
Yeah,
little French toast.
yeah.
His name is Groot. Like the
That's
Marvel movie.
fantastic.
that's
I
a
did not
perfect-
know his
I
name
did
was
not-
Groot.
Listen, I'm a fan now.
So
Yeah.
they call Frenchies Velcro dogs.
Yeah.
It's like you can't get him off of you. He is definitely that. He
Dog,
is
that's
attached
hilarious.
to the hip. He's a good doggy. Good
Yeah,
boy.
he looks like a good dog. See, takes the loving. So anyway, so back to that. So on this album stuff, right? Like kind of broken down. You put a shit ton of effort into it. It's a lot of culmination kind of coming into this.
Yeah.
15 songs broken down to 4. Like, I mean, when it kind of hits that debut point, like what is the expectation that you have as far as like what you're hoping to hit? Is there like a viewership thing? Or
Yeah.
is there...
So there is a whole plan behind that. So
Yeah.
great question, and that I've been learning about. But basically, you're submitting your song to different podcasts. Playlists. Like on Spotify. So you submit to them, they listen to your song, they're like, oh yeah, this is a good one. And if you can get your song on a playlist that has 60,000 subscribers or followers, and that playlist is always getting updated, it's a great way to get your streams up.
Yeah.
So there's a submission process. I'm gonna submit it to some editorial places where they can write like about a song or about the feel of the album.
Yeah.
So there's a whole process that that you go through. Like on Instagram, you're promoting posts, which then bring people to your page. And you get more followers, and so it's just this whole science behind the world of social media and streaming.
Process. Okay.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I've never done it this way. So I'll give you an example. So 100,000 songs, I think it might be more than this. 100,000 songs are released on Spotify a day. And
what?
So a day. And it might be more because I might be missing a zero. I don't think I'm missing a zero though. So let's just call it 100,000 a day.
100,000 a day
Yes.
songs are uploaded on Spotify.
Because anybody can do it. Anybody can have a MacBook. Anybody can get distributed because it's free. Or you pay like $50 a year and you'll get free unlimited releases. So I don't need a label to distribute my album anymore. I don't need a producer go to Nashville and record with all these session players because I can do it all on my computer. So guess what that means? 100,000 songs a day are going to get released on Spotify. So you've got to be strategic in how you do it. So my first stuff I re-released last year, I just released it and it gets released into the void and it just gets lost. And so there's a whole process that you're trying to get to the front of the line.
You connect to the machine.
Yes.
Everyone realizes, like, if you're on the radio, you hear the same songs over and over.
Exactly.
Because they're connected to the machine. So when you talk about 100,000 songs being released, it's like everyone's jumping in the pool, and you're saying, "I want to be the special one that you listen to."
That's crazy.
That's a different world. I never looked at it that way. Like,
bro, I didn't even know the jungle was that big.
It's a big jungle, baby.
Holy shit.
The rainforest.
There's room for everybody. Don't get it twisted.
and that's the other part too.
There is room for everybody. That's the good part about it.
Yeah, and I think here's the problem. This is where people are the expectations can be lost a little bit because I think as adults we understand those expectations a little bit more. Like, yes, there is room for everybody. But trust me, like you're going to be in that corner. A lot of people that start out, you're going to be in that corner alone for a long time.
Exactly.
So it's, you know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, you're now developing a new strategy. Yep. You're getting all kinds of things kind of revved up so that you can get your stuff to the forefront and start pushing the streamage on it.
Yeah, because that's how you're going to get in with a sync deal. How to get your song on Love is Blind season 97. And I'll be all about that. So Netflix.
Yes. There you go.
Because it's perfect love music. So yeah, you got to get to the front of the line and if the music so in Hollywood it's called music supervisors. Music is the last piece on production to be added. And so sometimes they're adding a song that day. Hey, I got to get this into the producer so they can proof this scene I did. And they might be like, I need a song. Yeah. And that could happen like that. And so if they're like, who's this person? 3 streams and 2 of them are their mom and dad and uncle, you know, like there might not be a huge draw for this song.
That's
but if this person has 50,000 streams or 100,000, hey, let me listen to it. All right, cool. Because streams are credibility. Followers are sad, but like followers and streams are credibility to important people.
It is,
and so you got to figure out how to get to that point.
And that's kind of the sad part too, is because sometimes there's always that diamond in the rough.
Right.
They just haven't been found as the diamond
yet. There's probably thousands.
Yeah,
you know?
And
that we'll never hear.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of it's tough, bro, because we had this. It's so similar when I'm thinking about it. When you're talking about football players, right? Excuse me. So we obviously played ball, and we played ball in college together and stuff. But being recruited, that was so hard in itself before the world created Huddle, right? And
that's right.
Yeah, so it's like, how are you getting noticed? Especially if you went to a 1A school in the state of Florida, like. There was no recruit at all. This is also before they had
Rivals.
10 times more options for football programs in the state of Florida.
Oh, yes, okay.
You know what I mean? And then when you started going back like early 2000s or mid 2000s, I mean, realistically, you had Division I, Division II, and then Division III was like, hey, it's like a community college almost for athletics because there is no money. There wasn't anything at all. So for us to get found, like you have to make a highlight video yourself. You have to figure out how to do it or find someone that can do it. Then you got to send it off. Then you got to mail it to all these people. And short of driving to Florida State or University of Florida and be like, hey, here's my tape.
Right.
Like 99% of the time, nobody looked at it. And it was just like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's well, and like we talk about, like the world's gone crazy because of social media, but like at the same time, it's kind of a blessing with what you're talking about or being able to position yourself into a good opportunity.
Yeah. And then once you get, obviously you get a little bit of momentum, then it just takes the right eyes.
Right.
Or in your case, the right ears.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you're getting a phone call and they're like, hey, Grey's Anatomy, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Season 17.
Let's go.
Yeah. Doug, I don't know if you knew about that. You know, he had that on the signing on the chopping block right before COVID. His song was about to be aired on Grey's Anatomy.
So I had a crazy story. It's a dumb story because it didn't happen, but my friend, she's a MD, a doctor, and she was a medical consultant in the writer's room. And so I was like, hey, I'm gonna shoot my shot. So, I don't know if you need music. Here's my stuff. And I'm like, what's the best song? And I said, use this song. And so a song called I Can't, I Won't. And they were going to use it. And then COVID happened and production shut down. And I'm like, it slipped out of my hands, you know, it was so close. But
I mean, you're connected with the right people. It's just, how do I get back into the front line again?
Yeah.
All over again. But I look at it like I've seen a number of artists. I'm glad you said it's like 100,000 songs. I see a number of artists on social media, and I'm like, man, his music is exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And then when you follow the artist, they don't have any other music for you to go off of. So it's like, man, you got one song with one great hook that is real catchy, and now I don't have anything to fall down that rabbit hole. So now you just throw that person to the side instead of just being the artist of the year.
Yeah.
Like, man, this is the artist that resonated with me the most. Like I talked about this last time when I heard Giveon, I was like, okay, this guy, and then I went to go see him live, and I was like, I'm gonna be a lifelong fan because he had 3 albums for you to go behind, and it wasn't just like, oh, okay, he had 3 songs.
Dude, I feel bad for artists and like comedians and people that are or YouTubers and shit like that when they have fans like me, because I'm the fan that I go to their page 24/7.
Right.
I never subscribe. It's due to lack of knowledge, and it's due to lack of like just understanding of how like now I do, right? But before we got into the YouTube,
it didn't
game,
matter.
Oh my god,
it was just about views, really. Yeah.
And that was the thing. So like I would listen to the songs. And they're like, hey, make sure you go subscribe, hit that follow button, all that bullshit. I'd be like, that's dumb. And then I just play their stuff and listen to the playlist repeatedly or whatever. You know what I mean? I feel bad.
It's
Don't
like
be like me, bro.
It's like the psychology of somebody like tells you what to do, even if it's like good. You're like, no.
Yeah,
I'm making my own decision.
Yeah.
It's like triggers all of us. Yeah.
And then there's sometimes I would be like, yeah, you're right. I need to do that because I do. I'm like a fan.
Right.
I just forget.
Man, that's why I like everything on social media. Like Travis say, I'm just gonna keep pressing like.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted that person to continue to keep doing what they're doing, like their stuff.
That's a good point.
It's really just
really
that
point.
Simple nature.
It is.
Like
and you know, there's always those clips on Instagram now. It's like, hey, you don't have to have money to be a fan. Just a little like and a share.
Like,
that's it.
I
just
mean,
click 2 buttons, baby.
We had the Florida Bushman on here, and he was like, out of all my subscribers, 99% of the people that are viewing my stuff aren't even subscribed.
Yes.
Only 1% of people.
That was wild.
That's
He's doing it full time. He makes his life money off of YouTube. And his content is hilarious. And he was sitting there telling us some of the stories and stuff, and they were fucking awesome. And when he showed us his YouTube analytics, and it was like 99.3% of his viewers were not subscribed.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit.
That's crazy.
And then he's like, imagine if they were subscribed. I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, he'd have his YouTube plaque, you know.
Oh,
the gold plaque.
Absolutely. And he's still doing well. He's up to he's over 100,000 on socials. I think he's somewhat close to that on YouTube. So he's gonna have that silver plaque, dude.
Heck yeah, that's
which
great.
is crazy. But
it just doesn't
wild,
stop,
man.
It's just he understands like the system isn't set up for you to be successful. No one's going to just subscribe just because they like what you do. Most people that subscribe to you are friends and family. Those are the ones that are really rooting for you. The ones that are just liking your picture, you're like, man, they just like that particular moment.
General public, if you like a video, just go subscribe to it.
Just like and subscribe.
Just like me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Research has shown it's good for your health.
Exactly.
So
Zero doubt.
I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm with you on that. It can't. It can't hurt.
Yeah.
Watch your foot there.
Oh.
There you go.
No,
dude, I don't know. Go subscribe to everyone's page so we can get rich doing this, please.
Yes.
I'd love to quit my job, but I digress.
He says that by himself. I'm right behind him. I would love to quit my job too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all the same. We all just want to retire.
Help me.
I'm retired. But in retirement, I think, in all honesty, I talked about this yesterday with Bruck. Like, people don't know what they're going to do with themselves when they retire. I realize now that everyone's working, the hustle.
Our generation, for sure.
Yeah, it's the hustle and the bustle. But everyone's like, man, I want to make so much money that I don't have to work. But then what are you going to do with yourself? So I only ask that question because, once you blow up, and you're going to blow up, what are you going to do with your time? You still do music?
I'll probably be pretty busy if I blow up.
I mean, you don't have to. If it's on a show.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, what I would do is I would transition into doing that full time and writing and connecting with the right people, and writing and producing. And the other thing I would do is I would bring people who have helped me, believed in me, who are doing this stuff, whether it's music or content. You bring those people with you. Like, that's what it's all about, is like you create this network. And so there's an example like Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Judd Apatow, like they were all buddies and they're all writers in California, in Hollywood. They're trying to make it, and then they finally get a big break and they built all these relationships up. So then what happened? You've got Knocked Up, then Forgetting Sarah Marshall, then 40-Year-Old Virgin, and like you build up so much capital in the industry. You have all these relationships, so you can have a lot of freedom. You have a lot of, say in what you want to do and working with the right people.
I like that. So the community you want to continue to evolve. Yeah. We talked about that with Kevin Hart and how, he has the Plastic Cup Boys.
Yeah. There's a different variety, especially because we're big into comedy, obviously. But there's, I don't know, there's like kind of a weird thing when it came to the Kevin Hart thing, especially after the whole Cat Williams interview and stuff.
Right.
Like, Cat really promoted himself on how he promotes the people that he's trying to help come up because they're talented and he believes in them, And, Kevin Hart has the Plastic Cup Boys who he's brought with him along the way and that type of thing. And what's weird though is there's not a lot of promotion besides in his stand-up tours, and he doesn't even really promote the Plastic Cup Boys on the tours. They're just the opening acts.
Wow.
And there's like 4 or 5 of them. So it's, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, to me, it's a little bit weird. There's not a lot of promotion there when that's literally part of your act. And there's 2 of them in his last stand-up that I felt were actually, they were funnier. They were funnier skits than, or funnier segments than the main Kevin Hart thing. So I don't know, man. But like you said, it was when you get in that right group, and we kind of talked about it last time. So you're creating a new audience, and you're creating this new vibe, but you're also going down a different path where you're working with different people and those types of things. Like, what's been your biggest transition in kind of, because I know we talked about changing your music a little bit, but what's been the biggest transition in changing how you go about the production of this and involving so many more different people?
Yeah, I mean, the production piece is, my person who produced my album, his name's Costa Gatis, so we'll put his link in the description, wherever you call it. It's that part in itself is a learned skill, not just the songwriting, but like learning how to do this stuff, learning how to set up a template. What do I like? What's my vibe? And then you have all these plugins, like I've got this sound, this sound, this sound, this instrument. So you've got your template, and then you bring your song with just your chords and your voice, and then you start building it out. And so like that's another area that had to grow and evolve, is learning the art of production.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you think is the? I know we actually we started getting into this on our last podcast, and I love having you on, so we'll have more later. But like, what is the dynamics that makes good music now? Because like you said, everything's still evolving. But
man,
in my opinion, there's still things that are in the past that I think like come on, you're coming back, baby.
yeah,
Like, hey, we're gonna recycle this music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Avery is now she's being shown in sync in the Backstreet Boys
Yeah.
when they were hot in the
Yeah.
early 2000s. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The next thing you know, she's going through the house, bye, like
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
crap.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So I feel like that's having it's recycled rotation, but you know, but you're still having to evolve. So what do you think goes into making really, you know, changing music
yeah,
that
it's a
attracts
good
people?
question. I think the listener dictates a lot of that. I still think it's catchy. I still think it's a great hook. I still think it's likable type music, which
Yeah.
is typically like catchy, you know, stuff that gets stuck in your head. And so
Yeah.
I think that's still really, really important. But as far as like the evolution of music, I think, you know, you listen to somebody who's so massive now is like Billie Eilish. Like Billie Eilish has such an incredibly huge audience, but her music's like kind of weird, right? And so it's like weird sounds and different effects, but she's got such a beautiful voice. So I think, long answer to your short question, is like what makes the next thing popular is find something that isn't really heard a lot and being done, but do it really, really, really well. So I'll make really weird music, but I'll have this angelic voice, and I think it's her brother, Phineas, like, and I'll have this genius mind behind me, and then we'll create this new type of sound that nobody's really doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what makes something popular is like the building blocks of a good song, catchy, great instrumentation, great vocals, but doing it in a new type of way. I think that's what helps move the medium forward.
Yeah. See, and that honestly, that bothers me a little bit. That really does, like, just because of the fact that something's new.
Yeah.
And I get the human brain, the way people are designed. They're constant, especially today. It's because, remember, like we talked about, you can just swipe through things so fast. It's like, what's new? Like, I need new stimulation. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, I love trying new things. Like, I want to travel and I want to do this. But at the same time, like, good music is good music. And we went down this rampage last
Yep.
time, bro. It's like that 90s and
Yep.
2000s, that's like I would say 60s to 2000 was when things were evolving, but when it was evolving and it was good. Then it started getting like, hey, how short can I make something but
Yeah.
make it super catchy?
So that's really, really is like 2.5 minute songs.
Yeah.
As like a songwriter, like 2.5 minutes, like usually it's like at least 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But another example of like what made something popular is like take somebody like Kanye West, who I think might be insane, but I think he's like literal genius level, and he's like one of the first guys to come out with auto-tune. The song Heartless comes out, and now how many songs have auto-tune in it? Every freaking one of them, right?
Yeah.
So you find something that's not being done, and it just catches.
Yeah.
you know.
It takes one.
Yeah.
And then people start jumping on board.
I really think people don't really think about what's really catchy. We know sex sells. That's great. That's all awesome. But people like
Right.
controversy.
Yeah, agree.
And people also like a shocker. Like your
People also like love.
love is your love, but most love songs that's like catches you off guard is because he's saying something like Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River. It's like it's negative. That's
right.
no ifs and buts about it. It's like, yeah, bitch, Cry Me a River.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everyone resonated with that song because it was like the villain song.
Right.
If I'm in a relationship and you leave me because of this,
Justice.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
justice behind it.
Yeah.
So when you're making music, do you have that in mind? Like, this can't just be, I have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I have to be transparent, but I also have to Cry Me a River. I have to go with people are going after.
Yeah, like there's a song on the EP, and it's number 2 actually. It's called Carefully, and I wrote this song about like how many times do you meet somebody and they're like on edge or you're on edge and it's like, man, I really like this person, like all this stuff, like this baggage, right? And it's like so the song's talking about like you can be whatever color you want me to see. It's like just be yourself, and like thinking about those ideas that like everybody can identify with. That's like, yeah, I've totally been in these shoes before. I think that's another thing that makes a great song and popular is it's like, yeah, everybody's felt that way.
Yeah. See, I would still love to see. I'd love to see an a de-evolution of our music production.
I get that for sure.
And yeah, and that's
I get it.
Because I would love to continue down that path of like Train and
Yeah.
and John Mayer coming out with some newer hits and things like that, but not converted and evolved into the way it is, because we've seen artists like you said, they've evolved with what people want to hear, right? And I get people are going to be like, that's what they want to hear, Mike, so that doesn't make sense. I would say fuck that. Like, make the stuff that's good. You know what I mean?
But you have to be, I think you have to make what people want to hear. It's like we talked about that with Nickelback. They made the stuff that people wanted to hear, and then they went off and did their own weird stuff. But they didn't make it to where it was just all their weird stuff. They would have never got off the shelf.
Listen,
if they didn't play with
you got to be like at the A-list level to like be like, I'm going to do what I want now.
I mean,
that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, like, if you're going to sit here and tell me like Rockstar wasn't something they wanted to put out, I listened to Rockstar and repeat from the time, probably from like 14 to 35. But it's great, bro. You know what I mean? And then you have Hero, right?
Photograph's like one of the
Photograph
greatest, like great songs.
Bro, when I was in high school, and when you're in that like you're in that full testosterone mode, I'm a fucking jock, but you go through a breakup and you don't want, deep down when no one's around, you're like, God, my life's over.
Yeah.
One of those, right? But that was one of my go-tos, bro.
Dude.
It was, no doubt.
If the Nickelback songs didn't sound like Nickelback and it was just like a nice piano and a voice, something like,
yeah,
I guarantee you they wouldn't get as much hate as they do.
I don't understand how they got hate.
I think it's because it's so like like the Creed sound that's like kind of meme worthy now.
God, dude.
But like they're great songs.
They are.
They're like earworms, we call them.
Yes, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal songs. Now, the one thing that was super funny, and to this day, like it still lives and breathes, and it's like people don't do it anymore, but it still captures the audience of that like teenagers during the early 2000 phase. Remember?
Yeah.
Tonight will be the
night.
night.
Emo stuff.
That like halfway emo stuff, like Good Charlotte. I
love that.
I hate my dad, like that type of shit. Like,
because they lost it all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exactly, bro. Like that stuff. Like I'm telling you, we call it Volvo music. So the reason we call it that, Ash, when she was in high school, her first car she ever had, she had a red Volvo, right, and she had a sunroof. And she plays all that stuff, All American Rejects, like Good Charlotte. She's like
that.
The whole like genre, right? And she loves music so much, so she loves to expand onto that. So she finds all the stuff that was made during that time, right? So every time we go through like some random playlist or something, you'll hear it, and then me and Avery be like, "This is a Volvo song," and she'll be like,
"Nice,
absolutely."
I'm gonna get my feels.
Yes, I'm getting in my feels. I want to hate my parents.
Yes.
Like
he's
everything
me on homecoming night.
Yes, like that whole thing, bro. Like I don't care.
That is like sacred music.
It is,
that's
bro.
Like high school. Like that is our oldies. Think about that. Is emo music or like Usher? Like that's our oldies.
It's 3:00.
Oh yeah, it's all right. It's all right. You can be all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Pause.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna.
Pound sand.
Yeah.
Hey, lady.
So, but yeah, go ahead and push that mic away, bro. But yeah, dude, that's how
it's like you feel it here, dude. Like that music, you feel it like in your you get the feels.
He said it. No homo. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's no doubt about it, bro. It's just like that stuff that really gets to me nowadays, because I want some of that stuff to come back. Like, and there's some new jams that are great. And country will always be country.
Country will always be country. And it'll always be fun.
There'll always be parties, breakups, drinking.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. And it's like, that stuff's cool, but some of that new stuff, and then like the new rap, that stuff.
Trap.
Yeah. It's
weird.
Like, yeah. And the had 90% of the time, the lyrics make no fucking sense. And there's no actual, like, what do you call it? Lyricist?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no lyricist anymore. Like Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
Was
he's one of the best.
And
of all time.
And it's quick, fast, like real artistry.
And it's kind of dark and it's kind of deep. And
yeah. And that's the thing. And now you have, like, you'll be talking about, there'll be people talking about gang banging and then hooking up with some chick and then use the word microwave because it rhymes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that shit doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. So, like, let's do this, bro. Let's give me a little ranking here, right? So, if you had to give me your top 3 favorite bands of all time, right? And then on the other side, I want you to also rank your top 3 individual artists of all time. Let's go bands first.
All right. Okay, man. So my top band,
Yeah.
I'll try to give you 2 and 3. The band that made me start playing guitar is Dave Matthews Band.
Elite. Absolutely elite.
They're like the Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
The second band I would say is Jimmy Eat World. They are one of my favorites. High school, we talk about high school music and stuff.
Yeah.
And number 3, this is gonna sound like Homer answers because these are like my generation bands, but I'd say number 3 is like Kings of Leon.
Yeah.
Because their early stuff was like really Southern rock, and they had this like Creedence Clearwater Revival vibe.
Yeah.
And they've really evolved and taken off like crazy. As far as individual artists, man, that's crazy. I mean, I'll do my generation artists.
Yeah.
Because in fear of sounding ignorant, he didn't list Billy Joel. Bastard.
He didn't list Billy Joel.
Asshole. I would say, gosh, that's so difficult, man. I would say, in no particular order, like Adele.
Okay.
I'm
pretty sure. No, so all right. So let's bring him back in this. So we've got I asked him to rank his 3 top 3 bands of all time, and also rank his top 3 individual artists of all time.
So which one is Adele?
Let's go through.
An artist or band? Well, obviously
she's an artist.
Artist.
What was your band?
I'd say
Adele, Dave Matthews Band.
So the bands were Dave Matthews Band, Jimmy Eat World, and
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon.
Yep.
Artists. I mean, I guess I can give you order. Like, I'd say John Mayer's number 1. Number 2, I would say, is Adele. And number 3, I'd say, is Usher. Because you've got like 3 different kind of like, I mean, Justin Timberlake would be another one, because these people are kind of like pioneers of their genre, you know? So that's why I list those particular people.
I dig that. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, what you got?
Yeah. My band's
not too detailed.
No, my band's are real simple. I go Boys II Men, New Edition.
Have we come?
You know, you grew up with those, and I'll even go 112. Like, those are my
112.
You know, those are.
Give me that peaches and cream.
Yeah.
So you have that,
dog. I want to say Brian McKnight just for
you know, for the sake. But I would go. My 3 favorite artists would be like Music Soul Child, Brian McKnight, and I'm a little different. I have to say,
from this first 2, everyone can tell you're a little different.
No, I'm just saying, but it's R&B is everything. R&B is life for me. So music, I love.
So you like the slow stroke.
Not even that. Like, I love Chris Brown. So I will go like Chris Brown as the last, just because he dived into every genre.
And he really did.
Singing is still relevant.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
So those are my
those are good ones.
I would say R. Kelly, but he's doing something different these days.
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to say R. Kelly right now.
He's wearing some type of government clothing. Right
yeah.
No Diddy.
It says inmate. Yeah. So
What you got, Mike?
here we go. So I'm gonna go individual first. So my number one individual artist of all time would have been Eminem.
Oh, great.
I
I love
love
that.
Eminem.
Love that pick.
Eminem was absolutely legit. Next one I would have to say, God, this is tough for me because there was a lot of individuals, especially when I was coming up. And remember, we started talking about TRL.
Yes. Carson Daly, baby.
Kid Rock was on there. That was really, really good for me. So I'll give him 2.
Yeah, he's a good pick too.
Yeah, and then 3, I'd probably have to go with a Chris Brown. I really would,
Yeah.
because Run It, that one I played that for probably 5 years straight, and it didn't stop.
No Bullshit is one of my favorites. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was phenomenal. So as far as the bands, Nickelback was definitely number 3. That one I got to go. My tier 3, right? I got to go Nickelback on that one. Then I will have to. God, man, you're right. This is a tough question. I don't know why I asked you this now.
That was loaded, man.
I know.
I gave like my generations because it's like
Yeah.
so many freaking.
I want to replace 112 with Drew Hill, by the way.
I was about to tell you. I was about to ask
Yeah.
about Drew Hill.
I would do Drew Hill instead of 112.
So 2, I'm probably gonna have to go Pink Floyd.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Some of the original as well. This was with their original lead singer before he went mad. And then God, there's so many of them. There really is. So the last one, probably my number 1. I'm still tussling between 3 or 4, so those should even be my top 3. You know what? I'll probably go Guns N' Roses. Those were, because I love that. I grew up with my dad on that stuff, and he was like dead set on some of those. And
Classics,
I listened to him all the way until now.
But
And
how could you really rank?
you know what? Let me switch. I'm sorry. I got to go Pink Floyd 1.
all right.
Pink Floyd, that's my go-tos. When I start getting really drunk, that's what I turn on. I'll go through the part 1 and part 2 of The Wall.
Teacher.
Like,
Leave them kids alone.
Exactly. I
Just
play it, by the way, you
screaming
play
it.
that Avery. Now she calls Pop Pop, right? My fantastic father. And she'll be like, "Hey Dad." Or she'll be like, "Hey Pop Pop, leave them kids alone." And
That's
start the
hilarious.
revolution, baby.
That's hilarious.
I mean, but it's hard when you're musically inclined. I feel like everyone likes music, but when you love music, like
Yeah.
I absolutely positively love music. So I think on my computer I had the most music, 26 days worth of music,
wow.
and I just listened to day 26. It really, music helped me go fill out my emotions when I was
Yeah.
happy, sad. Like when I'm sad, I'm gonna listen to a sad song. When I'm
I got a-
happy, I'm gonna listen to a happy.
I got a real question for both of you. Just an estimate. How much illegal music did you have for LimeWire?
LimeWire?
Great
Yeah,
question.
like let's go, Travis. Give me a good estimate.
Man, 1,000 songs? I don't even know. Probably that, you know?
Yeah.
And you wait your 45 minutes to get,
Yeah.
here we go.
That's
9%. There's only 37 kilobytes left.
That's what it's dial up, baby. We
right.
couldn't be on the home phone at the same time.
But I grew up where we used to burn albums, burn
Yeah,
CDs.
man.
Yes.
So it's a
Oh,
little
my God.
different when you
The-
talk
Girl,
about.
I'll make you a mixtape.
Yeah,
Yes,
make
bro.
show you how
The
I feel.
greatest invention of all time was the reburnable CD.
Oh,
You
yeah.
remember those? Bro, I bought 3 of them, right? And went to the store, and it's funny because I made the same album. I changed like 2 songs, and I would just do that. But I had a shit ton of Weird Al on there. That's when I was getting my funny phase. Those were essential when it came to burning CDs.
See, and I say that, and you went in so many different genres. I was just talking about R&B. Like you growing up, it was Lil Wayne.
I
you-
lost a lot of respect for Lil Wayne.
Well, you're talking
Towards-
about, I'm talking about the actual Lil Wayne, like Little Wayne, before he became Wayne. Like it's a
Yeah.
little different. When he was, I'm not cursing, Hot Boys, that guy was hungry. The guy that you see now has made it. He hasn't even eaten fast food. We're so detached from
Yeah.
where he is
That's
now.
a great
He's doing
point.
punk skate, and so on and so forth. That's not the guy I grew up listening to. I grew up listening to the guy that says, "I shoot your arm, leg, arm, head," and he was never a killer. I made a song that says, "I'm not a killer." He was contradicting to himself. That's just like Tupac. he was that type of artist to where I'm going to say what people want to hear instead of what I actually do.
I lost a weird amount of respect for him when they started comparing the lyrics. You're right, towards the later part of his career, and it was kind of like that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, remember throw in the word microwave because it rhymes.
Kind of
somewhere.
trap influence.
Yeah. So that one was weird. Plus, when his voice started changing, I lied about. Yeah, like when he started.
I was in the clouds.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know, he was trying so many different things in order to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Instead of just
understanding. Can't blame him.
But your fan base was with you.
I agree with you.
No matter what. We want you to evolve. But
that's a great point.
I was going to say, if you got, dude, oh my God. One of the boys, JP Hovey, he's got a beautiful take when it comes to trying to get into social media. You can use the same idea for artists, and musicians and things like that. He said, bro, you need, it's your fuck, I forgot the first word of the saying. Oh, it's your path to 15K, right? You need to have the authentic, like true 15,000 followers. Like if you have 15,000 diehard fans, bro, you will never have to do anything for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Because those 15,000, or maybe it's 10,000 actually. It's road to 10K. That's what it was. It's 10K. I'm sorry, but he was like, yo, the moment you get that, like every single one of those guys, they all share it because they're the diehards. Then you got 10,000 shares. Then it's gonna reach 100,000 people, and then one or two of those guys might share it. It's like, but when you're on that path to that 10K, like true followers, and that's what kind of hit me with that. His followers would have followed him. Like, bro, he had 100,000 true like diehard fans from that point. Like he never would have had to done anything he didn't want to do.
But you can see people like T.I. who's never changed.
No,
he's who he's been.
Yeah,
he's been trap artist. T.I. versus T.I.P. He's never changed that, and there's nothing wrong with being your authentic self.
God, I forgot about T.I. in the rankings too, because there was probably like 5 years where I had T.I. on.
That's what I'm saying, but you don't realize how artists help you through a period of time in your life, like the struggle and all that good stuff. So when you're making music, like how you're making music, your intent is to have an influence. But you don't know how long that influence is going to last. Like I'm going to play old Lil Wayne, old T.I. to my kids just because this is the music that made me feel alive, that helped me get through being in this part of life. I'm in the weight room. Nobody wants to lift weights. Nobody wants to work out. But you got that music playing in the background.
Exactly.
Vitamin C, Graduation.
As we go.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. For some reason, that song hit for like a solid 6 months of my life. But it was...
and so you talk about like music gets you through certain parts of your life. I think music represents certain parts of our life too, and like they always say, like nostalgia is just a powerful drug because it brings you back to like that moment of high school graduation or your wedding day or whatever it is. And that's why it's just like it just connects with you so much.
Yeah, honorable mention. I gotta shout out to the boys. Honorable mention on that ranking. Rascal Flatts would have to be number 4.
That's another good one, man.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just.
That's crazy. The further we go,
you gotta do top 3. You gotta do like top 10 in like each genre.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
It's tough, man.
You went just broad. Like I feel like I slapped.
That's what I'm saying. That's hard, bro.
It's hard, man.
It's very hard to break down.
If you want to go broad, it's Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and probably the Beatles. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's true. And I was gonna say,
who else is it?
Michael Jackson is gonna be a top 5 for me. I love Billie Jean. When I was in high school, bro, Billie Jean was one of the tunes. Like I required my locker room to play that song when I walked in. Like I loved that. I loved Michael Jackson.
I'm going to tell you. I know you're talking about Michael Jackson, but music, how powerful music is. I can't even think of the name of the artist anymore. But they had a song called "Whisper," and they where do you see my dick? You know what I mean? They whispered the entire album.
Yeah,
and
interesting.
It was just so much.
Just
fun.
In case it was too low the first time. Remember, it was. Where do you see my dick?
Yeah.
One of those. But no, it was, dude, that was hilarious.
You had those guys, or like the Shake Your Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
The Chingies, One Call Away.
Remember
Like-
Flow Rida, My House?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Welcome to my house.
You don't know how much,
white
how
people
important
rap.
what you do.
Huh?
It's white people rap.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say Roboti's definitely. He's not T.I.
No,
Nevertheless,
T.I. was the man.
I mean, it's not even that. It's just like you don't know what you're doing, how important it is, until you see these people expression. From
Exactly.
It. So when
You know-
you're doing this, promoting this album, I want to go just a little bit back to it.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to be? I want to say floored by the expressions that you get from people and when Bat Marie came on, she was like
Batman and Marie.
Batman Marie is like, hey, these people are writing in my DM saying I appreciate that song helped me get through this period of time. Your genre, your niche is love music, whether it's breakup, whether it's going through that. That's where you stay home at.
Yeah.
How do you evolve from that? How do you evolve from just love?
Yeah, I mean, so that song that kind of didn't make the album was more about life. It's about getting older. It was more about like I thought I was gonna have this all figured out. And so I think the more you write and the more you continue as an artist, you do change what you're writing about because your life informs you of what you want to write about. Because if you think about it, like if you're younger and I started out really writing songs. And like as a legitimate level, I was probably about 23, 24. Well, what do you know? I mean, if you haven't been through crazy life experiences, you know love, you know like that didn't feel good, that felt good, and so like you kind of write about that stuff. You write about what's important to you. So, you know, I think and how I have felt now is like I'm starting to write stuff that's a little bit more depth, even if it is a love song. It's a love song that's not so sugar sweet. It's more like, oh yeah, that's kind of like a serious way to say this or that, you know. So life informs what you write about, I think, and seasons of your life.
I look at it like I grew up listening to Immature.
Yeah.
And, you know, my very first time, like that was in my neighborhood. I don't want to say the hood. In my neighborhood, everyone resonated that song.
It was the hood.
Yeah, we all talked about our very first time. It opened a conversation for guys that normally wouldn't tell anybody what's going on in their life to tell them what's going on. Like, what was your first time? Like, what was your first time?
That's
like,
good.
To where that's why I feel like music should go to. It should make you express what period and what you're going through, what season you're in, and how you're going through that season. So when you're writing about love, those guys faded away. Marcus Houston's not. I don't think he's making music like that anymore because no one wants to hear another love song that he got hurt. Again, this is circles all over again. You got Trey Songz singing about the same thing, but he's singing it a whole lot different. And those guys don't keep the same shelf life,
Right.
Because no one wants to hear that your heart is broken.
And that's
for the
why
12th time.
I think that's why you have to evolve. You start writing different songs about different things, and you can write about current state of culture, and like that's another way to connect with people. It's like, dang, I'm not the only one who feels this. Like that song "Rich Men of Richmond."
Yeah.
It's like how many millions and millions of views, and it's like this guy looks like a regular Joe Schmo, and it's like, but it connects. People connect with it.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that, dude. So we gotta wrap up, dude. We gotta get into our spice of the week, but it's funny because I feel like we keep going.
Yeah,
man.
we
You know
can't. Once
what I
you
mean?
start talking about
So-
artists, this is a done deal. Like,
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's hit our spice of the week, and then we'll adjourn. But until the next time as well, we'll have you on.
Absolutely.
We gotta have you on when Token can come.
Yeah, man.
Because Token he's hilarious. Number one.
We'll do it.
Have you ever met him?
I don't think.
he's the best one of us. He's me and Bruck are.
He's incredible, dude.
That's awesome.
He's an amazing dude. So, do you want us to go first, or you got one?
Spice of the week?
Yeah.
Man, I had a pretty good week. My spice of the week, I always say your show, so I can't say that. I'm gonna make myself not say that. Yeah, I mean, just I got back some of the mixes, and I'm really excited. And the spice of the week for me is like I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Let's release this thing, and let's
Music's
go.
ready to go. We'll do that at the end. What you got?
Mine is it sounds weird to say this, but I'm looking forward to the future. Normally, I'm always present mind. I'm looking in the past at what blossomed the most.
Yeah.
But being able to hang around the people that you want to be around, it's what I look forward to the most. Like going skating with O tomorrow, and it's nothing but R&B music. Like that takes me back to my childhood, that nostalgia you're talking about. So that's what I'm looking forward to right there.
That's beautiful. That's very nice. My spice of the week is I've said this before. I'm gonna use a repeat. No kids. I have no kids this weekend.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. So after we're done here, I'm gotta go for a drive. Got to pick up a car or two, and yeah, I'm done. I'm
Chilling.
I am probably I'm gonna get fatter, and I might lay in my empty pool, because they just took all the water out of it. They're resurfacing it, and it's, to me, it's a magical time, because it's basically like the world can be like, hey, Bruck, this, and that. I can be like, toodaloo, motherfucker. So like one of those, you know what I'm saying? And it feels great. So one more time, man, look right into that camera. Tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Travis Schroder Music, all one word, on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, the works. So like and subscribe. And next month you'll get some new tunes.
Hell yeah. Actually, this month, because it'll be...
Yes, it's May.
It's May. This might come out a week before. So, you'll figure it out as you go. But
Cool.
either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't be the 99%.
Don't be assholes.
That's it.
All right, go subscribe. Make sure you go check out Travis Schroder Music. Look for him on the Spotify, everywhere that he said. Make sure you guys subscribe to him. He's an amazing artist. He's obviously put a ton of effort into it. And we've said it before, we're believers. And I love the genre. I told you I've been listening to it for years. So thank you guys so much. Peace out.
2 dimes and a token.